Welcome back to the Weekend Warriors show. I have a special interview this week with Ian Tuason, who is a filmmaker behind a movie called Undertone, being released wide by A24 on Friday, February 13th. Perfect timing. It is a very scary horror movie. I have to say, I went into it knowing very little about it. I think people should do that in general, just try to avoid knowing too much about it. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers in this interview, and I think we did a pretty good job. But it was wonderful talking to him. I have a background as a sound engineer. And this movie is all about the sound and directions of sound. And it's recommended watching in Dolby Atmos because it really takes advantage of the surround sound. And I hope you enjoy this interview. I really enjoyed talking to Ian because of my background. We got to get a little nerdy about the sound. Apparently, he was in the theater at the screening I was at Dolby Cinemas uptown. But yeah, movie opens Friday 13th, and enjoy the interview. And I hope to have more about this movie soon.
You hear something? Welcome to the Undertone podcast, where we talk about all things creepy. I'm your in-house skeptic, Evie Babbage, and my believer co-host says he has a real treat for us today.
We're listening to 10 mysterious audio recordings from an anonymous email.
Oh my God. Are you implying there's hidden messages in it?
Let me play it back in reverse.
Play the next one. Let's find out.
What is that? Where is that coming from?
Sing blah blah blah. Sing it, put your mouth. Get out.
Hey, Ian, how you doing?
Hey, I'm a big fan of your Instagram.
Back. Oh, Instagram. Oh, really? Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Oh, okay, nice.
I didn't
Uh,
I didn't know I didn't recognize your name at first, but then when I saw you, I was
oh,
like, oh, I've seen you on Instagram.
very nice. Well, listen, I'm a big fan of your movie, so we're even there. I saw it completely. I didn't know. I heard about it out of Sundance. I did not realize it was at Fantasia, with premiere of Fantasia, which is great. I love that festival. It's an amazing festival. I want to kind of be a little careful with spoilers, of course, obviously, because it's a better movie going in not knowing much as I did. I think you've done a bunch of shorts over the years. Was it something you kind of been thinking about for a while and it kind of just got made, or?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make movies since I was a kid. I think anyone that does shorts or even other mediums, like I used to be in virtual reality, and I used to make horror content in that medium, but what I wanted to do was make a movie. I think everyone does. I think everyone in advertising, anyone in video game development, maybe. But it was we don't have the resources to do it. So uh I just I wrote a lot of screenplays. I tried to I sent them off to producers and stuff. And you know, I think something like the undertone it's not something you can really wrap your head around until you see it and experience it. But because, on paper, a lot of people even wondered if it would work. So, it came to a point where it was like I I was getting to an age where I needed to make a movie before I died. So I just took everything I owned and invested it into making this movie that I believed in because it was a very scary movie in my head. And once I made it, thank God it worked. And then you know, scared people, and that was the number one intention. It was just like, how scary can I make this movie?
I mean, you have the benefits of it mainly taking place in one location, or a couple different rooms, but one house, and it has like mainly two on camera actors or two characters, I guess.
Yeah.
Was that kind of like was it easier to get made because of that? Because it was a simpler, it didn't involve a lot of locations, a lot of
Oh, man.
yeah.
It was one of those things where I had a I had I had a budget that I had to work with. So I had to write for the budget. And I would recommend to any filmmaker starting out to do the same. just use the resources that you have, and you can put your energy into making it instead of sending it sending it around and hoping someone might believe in it. Then, you know, I just had this budget, and then I figured, okay, I have this house. I can write something that's with just one actor, and as long as we don't leave the house. And then I I started writing a story about isolation, and then I started asking myself, why is she isolated? And then it kind of developed into just the practice of how how could I use these parameters I have uh, as a way to challenge myself to to get more creative. And then I felt like I had to get more innovative because so I started thinking a lot about uh, directional audio and the idea of combining found footage with traditional cinema. And the to me it started working as I was writing it. And I got to a point where I felt like I had something that I would bet my entire life savings on, and then I just went ahead and did it.
Now, I have a background as a sound engineer, and I also the benefit of seeing it for the first time in a Dolby theater, like the actual New
Oh,
York
perfect.
Dolby theater, like the Cirrus, like the mothership Dolby theater in New York. And I gotta say, I mean, I think when people see horror movies, they sometimes cover their eyes. I was actually covering my ears.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah.
not that I was like thinking it was gonna be too loud or anything. I just thought I wasn't sure what I was gonna hear, and I was like, it's scary audio, which is I guess it's really funny with I've talked to a lot of horror filmmakers. It's always like sound design is such a huge key part of horror working. That's like more than
Probably the
anything.
most.
Maybe the most. I think so too. Yeah, that score, even production design sometimes, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
it's I was in the theater too. They did a Q&A screening. Sorry, not Q&A. Well, a quality assurance screening for me, and
oh,
I was able to sit anywhere in the theaters. They told me to sit right in the center,
oh,
the
okay.
middle the middle seat in the middle row, and that's where I sat, and I got the full uh you know 3D audio experience uh balanced around me and like equal in every direction. And where did you sit?
Well, I was the guy going like this at near the front. I was near the front. I was the guy with the hands over his ear the whole time. So
Oh, I think I saw you were like crouching too low for me to see, right?
oh yeah, maybe yeah. I was pretty. It was pretty scary. I mean, I gotta say, it's pretty scary. It was a very last minute screening, so it makes sense that it was something for you to hear it in Dolby for sure. So let's talk about Nina also, because Nina's amazing and she has to carry this. Is this someone you knew beforehand? Is this someone you found? What were we looking
Someone
for?
that worked with my producer, Cody Callahan. It's Dan Slater and Cody Callahan are the two producers that kind of ran the show. And she worked with Cody on a movie, and Cody suggested her, and then we did a Zoom call to meet, and then I knew from the meeting that she was Evie.
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts yourself? Were there any like podcasts that kind of inspired this? Because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I know a lot of friends who do podcasts. I kind of do podcasts myself. But
Yeah,
it is an interesting kind of dynamic because you are kind of sometimes often just sitting, like I do right here, sitting just talking on the phone or talking to the audience that you don't see.
I wrote a bunch of books and that I read like audiobooks. But I also added some music, and I published them as podcasts.
Oh,
So I had that experience podcasting, and I used that experience when I was writing. But the podcasts that inspired me were the scripted ones, like the Black Tapes, the one that was the one that was adapted into a show. Uh, the it's
it was Serial?
No,
Serial?
no.
Oh,
I love Serial. Serial was great. But these ones were scripted podcasts. They were more like radio plays. There was a few I listened to, and oh yeah, Undertone started off as a scripted podcast at first, when I did get that idea of making a horror movie, it I had the storyline already written out for the portion of the podcast, the
Oh, okay.
portion of the podcast recordings.
Oh, got it.
But then I added the caregiving element and a bunch of other, you know, a bunch of other scenes that were visual. But at the start of it, it was a podcast. It was a radio play.
As far as again, let's avoid spoilers, but I mean, as far as like the logistics of it, I mean, did you record all the other voice actors separately? Did you have these clips? Kind of just did Nina kind of hear a lot of stuff as she was filming her
Oh,
portions, or did you actually have her communicate with people off camera?
we recorded the found audio clips with an iPhone in in the same house.
Okay.
I blocked the recordings to align with what Evie is looking at in the movie. So a lot of the time when you hear a scream and we've panned off Evie into an empty living room, that scream you're hearing was recorded in the living room. Uh, and the character Jessa, the actor that plays Jessa, was looking at the dining room table when she made that scream,
Hmm.
and then sobbing that she saw her. And what we're seeing in the movie is Evie looking in that direction. So there is kind of two parallel universes happening that only people on set know about.
So there's a lot more going. There's a lot more going on. I mean, it just seems very simple. Like, oh, she's just sitting there at a computer, but there's a lot more stuff going on around her than anyone can imagine. I imagine. I guess.
Oh, well, I mean, when we were shooting Nina, she was listening to those audio clips for the first time.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the reactions uh, that she gave in her performance were genuine. So whatever you would be hearing in the theater, whatever feelings you're getting from hearing it, she's feeling it too as an actor hearing it for the first time.
Yeah. Was she pretty adept at the technical stuff? Was she able to kind of like make it seem like she could do all that stuff, or did she kind of have to get some training?
Well, we faked it. So like we just we we had a computer in front of her, and then we had her pretend to do all that stuff, and then we shot the computer screens separately. But she knew what she was listening to, and oftentimes she was listening to it. So she was listening to nursery rhymes backwards, and uh, and Justin, her co-host, we had a stand-in feed lines to her upstairs from on a phone call. So she is speaking to a real person pretty much all of the time. It's either the double or uh, or Adam DeMarco.
Well, as I said, I'm a sound engineer, so I was impressed. I really believed it, and I would be the first person to tell if it was faked. So,
Oh,
um,
those guys at Red Lab, the guys who did the post sound edit, yeah, they were always thinking about guys like you because they would change stuff because they would I didn't notice the difference, but they're like, yes, sound engineer would notice it, and that didn't sit well with them unless it was corrected. So
nice,
just
excellent.
don't ask me what they corrected. All I know is that they tried something. I said good, and then he said I don't know, and then he went back and he changed it, and then I listened to it and it sounded exactly the same. But
I have so many questions about this movie, but a lot of it gets to spoiler territory. It's about all like the nursery rhymes and the research you did and all that other stuff. And I'll just have to find out about that stuff later after the movie comes out. Uh,
well,
I'll talk to
you could ask.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, let's say if someone Googles some of the stuff in this movie, would they find like real stuff that inspired it, or like
yeah,
nursery
you
rhyme
would,
stuff?
you would.
Oh, okay.
Once if you Google everything that she's she Googled, Yeah, there is um which queen was it? The Queen Consort of England in
Oh yeah.
hundreds. Yeah, she lost nine of her children in either in childbirth or the child died at a very young age,
Mm.
and she was childless after having given birth nine times, and she supposedly kind of went insane from depression and also the fear of having another baby. It's a it what it, maybe I think she thought she was cursed. So there was like that's all in the Wikipedia page. The demon
Mm.
is has a Wikipedia page too. Abzu.
But not stuff you created, just for that reason.
Well, I took stuff
Oh, got it.
that was out there, and then I created a story around it. So so it is, there it's a real demon. I think we summoned her because there's a lot of weird things happening in the house when we were filming.
Do you have any idea what you want to do next? I don't know if you actually completed this for Fantasia last year or you've been working on it since then on the sound and stuff. Have you been working on it or have you been working on something new, starting something new already?
Well, when we screened at Fantasia, it was acquired by A24, which gave us a budget to do a little bit of reshoots and do a Dolby Atmos mix because at first it was a surround sound, but it wasn't Dolby Atmos.
Hmm,
So
okay.
Dolby Atmos, that was a lot of fun because now I could pinpoint a lot of the directional scares.
Hmm.
I mean, Dolby Atmos has a speaker right above your head, which is surround sound doesn't. And there is that scene of Evie looking up because she hears footsteps or banging, and and we can actually put that sound directly above your head in the theaters so that there's that experience that could I always tell people you gotta watch this movie in a theater in surround sound, and if you don't, then you haven't really seen the movie yet.
Hmm.
So that's something people will just discover on their own.
Thanks so much. It's great meeting you. Amazing movie. I think it's like up there with like Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity, one of these like amazing indie movies that no one's gonna expect how scary it is. But
Oh man,
hey,
I hope
let
it
him
I hope it releases that way too.
yeah, let them find out. Let them find out how scary it is. They'll be telling everyone how scary it is for sure.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, Ian. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Have a good day.
You too.
You shouldn't have called out to her. It's what she wants.